On this episode, homemade dressing. Looks pretty good, don't it? Hey, it's the real Aunt Millie's cookbook here. Hey, this evening we're going to be making dressing, sage dressing. You know, Thanksgiving's right around the corner. But I like to thank each and every one of you for liking and subscribing to my page. I appreciate it so much. Thank you very well. Well, we're going to get started. You know, it's not a whole lot to making dressing. A friend of mine, good friend of mine, gave me this recipe. It was her grandma's years and years ago. So she gave this to me, so I hope she enjoys it. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm only going to make a half a batch this time because we don't need a great big one. And so I'm cutting the recipe in half. So I'm going to use a half of an onion, a stalk and a half of celery, what about these nice little bowls? I like them. And then I'm going to put in some chicken broth. And then I'm going to put this on the stove and kind of let it simmer for just a little bit while I tear up my bread. Pour it on the table, it's okay because it makes it all that much better. Yeah, my friend Gina gave me this recipe many, many years ago, and I have made it ever since. Now I'm not going to add no salt and pepper to this yet until I get ready to mix it up, and I'm going to throw this on the stove and I'll be right back. Okay, now I've got that broth on the stove. It's going to cook for, it's heat up until probably about 10 minutes till it comes to a little slight boil. And then I like to put my little spin on everything. I like to take a half a stick of butter and add to that. It just makes the dressing a little bit more buttery. I don't know how to explain it. But I like to do that. And everybody knows by now that I like to put a little spin on everything. So now we're going to get ready and tear up our bread. And like I said, I'm only making a half a batch. So we're going to use a smaller pan. Usually what I like to do is, when I make a complete recipe, I like to use the deeper pans because it'll hold the bread better. So we're going to take this, we're going to tear up our bread. Hope everybody's having a good day. It's been pretty good for me. I haven't done too much, but it's been a pretty good day. Okay, now we're going to use one whole loaf of white bread. And just tear it up. Just tear it up. It doesn't have to be any certain way. Just tear it up. Take out your frustrations, on this bread. You've had a bad day? Tear up the bread. Now, some people use day-old bread. Some people like to use toasted bread. This is the way this recipe calls for this white bread. And like I said, I've made it for a long time. My family tends to like it, so, and I love it. I love dressing, homemade dressing. Again, I want to say thank you for watching and subscribing. I appreciate it. Hope you get a couple laughs out of it because, it's about fun. It's about having fun and some comfort food. Nothing fancy because I don't do fancy. I just do easy. We like to do fast and easy meals, you know. But since Thanksgiving's coming up, this is a good one. I don't know. I'm going to make deviled eggs too for Thanksgiving, but this ain't for Thanksgiving. I'm making peach cobbler. Peach cobbler and deviled eggs. Now, doesn't that sound good? Yeah, I know. But there'll be other things, so you don't have to worry about that. You can eat some deviled eggs, and the deviled eggs usually go over pretty good. Everybody seems to like deviled eggs. And everybody makes deviled eggs different. But this is a really simple, easy recipe. It really doesn't take all that long. So we're just about done with this bread. Now I'm gonna I think we can get all of it in here. Because you know, once the broth gets in here, it'll go down. Now, I'm not sure how much broth I use, but you don't want your dressing really thick. You want it to be moist. And of course, I'll show you that when we get down to that part. But this will heat up, helps bring out the flavor in the onions and the celery. And then, like I said, I put in a half a stick of butter when that gets good and hot. And it just gives it a little bit more flavor that I like. So, and like I said, you know, it's all about what you like and what you like to do. Okay. I think I'm gonna check this real fast, and then I'll be right back. Oh, hey, we're going. Now I'm gonna try to show you this, but I don't know if I can. But it's just the broth and the celery, onion, a little bit of butter, half a stick of butter. And it probably heated up, you know, 5-8 minutes. It really doesn't matter. You can put it on high and get it done real fast. You can put it on and be a simmer. All this is going to do is bring out the flavor of that onion and that celery. And there's got some. And then we're just going to pour this right in here. Oop, maybe not. I'm left-handed, so just pour that all in there. It smells so good right now. So good. It's starting to look pretty good, isn't it? I like to cook. I like to make my family happy. You know, food makes people happy. Just give this a little mix up. You don't even have to mix it right now. But what I'm going to do is now I'm going to add 2 eggs. Now, I never was one to break it with one hand. I could break it with one hand, but it's not going to look good. And I'm going to get it all over my fingers. So, I like eggs. That's what I had for supper last night. Eggs and sausage. Okay, now we're going to add some salt and pepper. And I like pepper. Okay, and now we're going to use about little over, just a little over a tablespoon. I don't even know if we need that. I'm going to go with a tablespoon of sage. Doesn't make no difference. Just put it all in there. That should be good. Oh man, it just smells so good already. Now this usually takes about an hour to cook, but like I said, I'm only doing a half a batch, so it probably maybe 30 minutes, 45, till it's good and done. You know, your fork or your spoon comes out clean. That's how we want it. You gotta get this mixed up good. Get your eggs in there. Get it all mixed up. Get all your bread. Oh, it smells so good. I'm hoping that my pan, I know it's big enough. Okay, now it's going to have a little. See, it's kind of thick. We don't want it this thick, because if it's this thick, when you cook it, it's going to come out more like a bar than it is a dressing. So you want to have a little bit more chicken broth. Doesn't look like it needs a whole lot, but we do have to have some more. But it's easier to add than it is to subtract. So just go ahead and add a little bit at a time. Get that bread all mixed up and nice and moist. That's what you gotta have. I could eat it just like this. It is so good. I remember making it with my niece Kathy, and Kathy's been gone for several years, but she'd always say, I could eat this just like this. Okay, see, it's still just a little bit too thick, so I'm going to add just a little bit more. Like I said, it's easier to add than it is to take away. So, but oh my gosh, it looks good. Let me tip this up for you. Looking pretty good, isn't it? Oh my gosh, and it smells wonderful. I think just a little bit more, because it's still just a little bit too dry. That should do it. One way or the other, it'll be okay. Yeah, this is good. You can tell because it's not real thick. It's not real hard to mix. You'll know when it's loose, and that's the way you like it, loose. Okay, now I'm going to put it in this tin foil pan, because I don't want to do the cleaning. There we go. See, it just slides right in there. I love my new bowls. Okay. Now I'm going to put this in the oven, and it's going to bake for about 30 minutes, and we're going to check it. And just kind of smooth this out a little bit. I'm going to put this in the oven. I'll be back in just a minute. Smack that, smack my son's ass in a minute. Okay, we just got this out of the oven. It's looking really good. Looking pretty good, ain't it? Yeah, Thanksgiving's right around the corner, and I hope you give this a try. And let's try it and see how it tastes and goes. Oh, and it just smells so good. And like I said, this isn't a dressing that it's going to make a bar. This is dressing. Oh, and it looks so good. Might be a little warm. Mmm. This is perfect. Hope you try it. Hope you enjoy it. Have a happy Thanksgiving. I love you. See you later. Bye.